Hi, my name is John Bremner, and today is November 29th, 2020. Just finishing up the Thanksgiving weekend. So much to be grateful for. Today I'm here to share with you 100 reasons why I currently invest 100% of my portfolio in Tesla. Two other reasons why also I wanted to share this video. First is I wanted to give back to the Tesla community. I've learned so much over the last couple years from watching other podcasts on a daily basis to accumulate all the knowledge that I've received from that I wanted to help educate others. It was a chance for me to take all that I've learned and put it together all in one quick video. Secondly is I also wanted to document my conviction that I have for this company. When you go all in on a company, you want to make sure that you have a very strong conviction because it is a high risk, and this is not investment advice by any means. But ironically, I started this process a couple years ago. I started writing down why I wanted to invest in this company. And since then, it's continued to become a stronger conviction for me. So it ironically only took me less than 10 minutes to write 100 reasons, and I can tell you for certain that I wouldn't be able to do that with any other company. So let's get into it. So here are my top 100 reasons why I've currently invested in Tesla. Feel free to comment in the comments below if you can think of others, which I'm sure there's probably another 100 that I've missed, but here are mine. After finishing my first slide that I just completed, I realized that in full disclosure that it's actually not 100% my portfolio. It's actually 99.9%. There's a 0.01% that I actually just took on Friday, just a couple days ago, and that was I purchased Nikola puts, which is 0.01%, and a big shout out and thanks to Stephen Mark Ryan of Solving the Money Problem, who inspired me to get those. Again, not investment advice, but I love the videos he's put together on Nikola. I too have the same strong feelings that I don't feel Nikola is going to make it. So I figured, 0.01%, I'm willing to risk. So we'll see what happens. The puts expire this coming Friday, December 4th. So it should be an interesting ride. We'll see what happens. Let's get on with it. Sorry, one other thing before I go through my 100, I wanted to share with you how I first got interested in Tesla, because I think that's important for part of documenting my journey. My interest actually started back in 2000 or 2001. I don't remember the exact time, but it was within that time period. And it actually wasn't with Tesla because they weren't around yet, but it was actually with PayPal. I happened to be running a real estate business, and I was financing some land acquisition for buyers, and I needed to collect monthly payments from various sources around the world, and I struggled with an efficient way to do so. And I happened to discover PayPal when it actually first started, and I was blown away by the company. And my first reaction was, wow, I want to buy into this stock because it's going to be huge. I ended up calling the company and asked how I could invest, and unfortunately it was a private company, and so at the time I wasn't able to invest, and I kind of let it go and never really found out who started it. But in the back of my mind, I knew it was whomever it was brilliant. Fast forward a couple years, and one of my sons came home from school one day and told me about who he picked for his famous person for a school project. They all had to pick somebody famous, and he ended up selecting a man by the name of Elon Musk, and I didn't even know who he was at the time. And my son shared with me a few things about him, and one of which was the fact that he created PayPal, and it stuck with me, but I again didn't give it much thought. And then fast forward a couple years later, and I happened to stumble upon a woman by the name of Kathy Wood of ARK Investing. She was on a business TV channel. I don't know if it was CNBC or one of the other, or Bloomberg, but she was sharing um, that her price prediction for Tesla was $4,000 a share, which I believe in a post that's pre-stock stock split, so I think that's about 20,000 price target today. And at the time it was trading around $200 a share. And I remember all the guys on the channel were pretty much laughing at her, just asking her questions that basically mocked her. And I couldn't get over the time how far off her predictions were compared to other stock analysts. There was a disconnect, and I wanted to understand. I started to pay closer attention to Tesla. Began immersing myself in research about the company, and the more I researched, the more shocked I became. It seemed just about every day that I learned about the company, something new would just blow my mind, and it seemed to happen about every day or every week. I learned something new, and that was cutting edge that they were doing. Therefore, I started investing in 2018, and it was about a third of my portfolio. But I ended up each month started to add positions to it until the end of last year, where I transitioned to 100% of my funds in Tesla. So basically, this is my 2 years of research consolidated to in about hopefully 20 minutes in this video. It's really tough to give an elevator pitch to somebody. I end up talking about Tesla to other people, and they want to know what I know and why I'm so involved in it. And it's so hard to consolidate all the things that they're doing in such a short 2 minutes or less, which is usually the time frame that people want to hear it in. And I find it's almost impossible. So anyways, here you go. Okay, number 1 of 100. I had a hard time figuring out which one I wanted to start with, so I figured what better way to start with the first product that they came up with, and that's the Roadster. And what a sick car this is. As you can see, the video or the photo of the Roadster. 0 to 60 in 1.9 seconds, I think says a lot for an electric vehicle and how awesome it looks. Why not be involved in a company that can produce a car such as this on their first product launched? So that's number 1. Number 2 is the Fremont factory. This is where it all started. All the production began, where the mass production began of all their car lines before they started producing other gigafactories. But one thing I wanted to highlight, why this is important and why I have a strong conviction, is the infamous tent. For those of you who follow Tesla know what I'm talking about. Those of you who are new to Tesla, a couple of years ago, Tesla was going through what Elon calls production hell. They were struggling to produce as fast as the demand allowed. Their cash was burning because they needed to produce more cars. As a result, Elon, who's the most unbelievable problem solver, decided, well, we need to figure out how to produce more. Let's build a tent and add to our production line. And this really stuck with me at the time. So many of the business analysts were so critical of this, and they said, I can't believe that they're building this temporary tent to produce cars in. How desperate are they? And I actually just saw this as the complete opposite. I don't know if I always see things as the glass half, full versus half empty. Is I saw this as a pretty much genius way of trying to solve a problem, way to reach their production numbers, and it ended up working. And I just thought to myself, what an unbelievable CEO. I mean, how many other ICE manufacturers of traditional car makers would have sat in a boardroom and said, all right, we got to solve this problem, and then other people saying, we're making as most cars as we can make, and then a CEO to say, well, let's build a temporary tent to help achieve our goals. It's again, some people see this as a negative. A lot of people did, and I saw this as a unbelievable positive. Number 3 is highlighted zero marketing expense. Again, this blows me away every time I think about it, because Tesla has a zero budget for marketing, which if you compare to other traditional car makers, I think I heard a statistic, and I could be wrong, but that, the Ford, GMs of the world were spending close to $1 billion a year in marketing. That could be high, but I know it was a lot of money. And instead of Tesla spending money in marketing, they are spending the money in research and development and making the product better, because they know that, as Elon said, if I produce a great product, people will buy it without having to market it. And this is just extremely powerful. And instead of, again, spending $1 billion in marketing, they spend $1 billion on producing another factory to build more of their amazing cars. Number 4 is the Dojo. Many of you might know this, but this is the supercomputer of the Tesla, the brains behind their software. But as you can see from the picture, this is a kind of a snapshot of what Dojo sees for producing the full self-driving. But as you can see, it identifies each object, accumulates all the knowledge. It's the machine learning, and the Dojo is really, again, an unbelievable product that is going to take them to way beyond the next level. Number 5 is Tesla's inventory. I think the picture, speaks 1,000 words, as I typed on there. As you can see from the picture, this in essence is what the Tesla lots look like. Tesla can't keep up with the supply for the demand that's out there. If you compare this to other auto manufacturers, any town you go through has a car dealership, you'll see hundreds of thousands of cars just sitting in lots that can't be sold. And Tesla has the opposite problem. So why wouldn't you want to be invested in a company that has that type of demand? Number 6 is Tesla production. If you look at this picture, when I first saw inside of what the Gigafactory looked like, again, I hate to keep repeating myself, but I was blown away. If you just look at the picture, automation, jumps out, but you really go, well, how many people do you see in the factory? I mean, this is just all robots and just automation at its finest. And again, would I rather be invested in a company that can automate almost everything in their production line? Or if you watch traditional car makers where they have thousands of workers along the assembly line, it's a no-brainer to me. Number 7 is Tesla insurance. When I first heard that Tesla was coming out with their own insurance program, again, I was amazed that why aren't other auto companies doing this? It makes complete sense. When you sell a car, why not include insurance with it? And I was like, it almost seems so simple, but yet nobody's been doing it. And insurance is a hundreds of billions of dollar industry, and what better way to make additional income for the company than to supply? And the one interesting thing that when I first heard it, they mentioned who has more accurate driving data than the software inside your own car. It can tell you how many miles you're driving, how fast you drive, how quick you brake. It knows all about you. So what easier way to be able to know the cost of what they should charge you based on those variables. So you'll also hear Elon and others talk about how Tesla has maybe 12 different businesses within a business, and insurance is certainly one of them. I'm confident that it's a lot more than 12 now, but insurance is a great another reason why investing in a company like this is just the amount of growth in this particular field within their company is going to take off. Right now, I believe they only offer it in California, but that's going to soon expand into hopefully every other state. Number 8 is the Tesla Model S, the first mass-produced Tesla. that came after the Roadster, and this one doesn't need much introduction. It's I think it was named the car of the decade. It's an unbelievable product, and again, who wouldn't want to be involved in a company that can produce the car of the decade, especially such an early car manufacturer such as Tesla. It's only been involved in the last 14 years, and they're producing cars that are they can beat any of the other auto manufacturers that have been around for over 100 years. It speaks volumes. Number 9 is no dealerships. This is actually one of my favorites, and when I first started putting this together, I thought it'd be kind of cool to start with number 100 and work all the way down to number 1 as far as, from least favorite to favorite. And it became so difficult because they're all strong, but I do have a couple favorites, and this happens to be one of them. And I put on the little tagline, you can see, is going to a dealer is worse than going to the dentist, and I truly believe that. I mean, if you told me I had to go spend an hour at the dentist or spend 4 hours at a car dealership, I know I would pick the dentist, as much as I hate the dentist. But in any case, this speaks about how Elon and the company think. They think differently. They don't say, okay, everybody has dealerships, so let's set up a dealership to sell our cars. That's not how Elon thinks. He says, how can we make the car purchase the most efficient possible? Rob Maurer from Tesla Daily, if you haven't seen it, go on to YouTube and watch. He actually purchased his car in less than 60 seconds. So to think about being able to create a purchase experience of a large purchase price such as a car in less than 60 seconds, again, it blows you away. Versus going to these car dealerships. If you love this picture of seeing these flags and balloons of car dealerships, you go in there, you sit down, and you start negotiating. You're talking about a car, a price. And what does the salesman do? He says, I got to go talk to my manager. He goes back and says, okay, we can do this. And then you talk some more, and he says, I got to go run it through my manager. And 4 hours later, you still haven't purchased a car yet. And it's the most frustrating experience. And the fact that a company has put together something so simple that you can buy a car on your phone in less than 60 seconds compared to what's traditionally out there. Again, why would you not want to be involved in a company such as this? Number 10, I have Sandy Munro. For those of you who don't know Sandy Munro, most don't, but he is a leading automotive engineer who specializes in machine tools and manufacturing. He specializes in lean design. He's known for tearing down automotive products and to study and suggest improvements, innovations. And I first learned about Sandy through a YouTube watching him, and this goes back a number of years. And I remember when he first started tearing down Teslas, he actually was not impressed. In fact, he had a lot of negative things to say, which is somewhat understandable for a new company, new in mass production. They're going to run into some issues. But in recent years, the last, I'm going to say, year and a half, watching Sandy break down the newer Teslas, he has not only changed his tune, he is also completely blown away by how many improvements that Tesla has made. He said even within the course of a year, he's seen, for example, a Model 3, Model Y, how they've made unbelievable changes to the car in such a short period of time. When he breaks down other car manufacturers, traditional ICE vehicles, he said once they make and design a car, it stays that way for the entire year until the next model year. But Tesla does it differently. Once they find a solution or way to improve a specific part of the car, they'll just immediately make the transition and make the change. I remember seeing one video of him talking about how within a year's period, Tesla made like 13 or 14 changes to their car within the course, of that year. And he said, I've never seen anything like this. And he said, no other car manufacturer will do this. So again, it speaks volumes. Number 11 is covered call options. And you might think, why is this a reason why you'd want to invest in Tesla? And I'll be happy to explain. But when you own a number of shares, anything over 100, you have the ability to sell covered calls against your stock and to generate a chance to generate additional income. Again, why is this any different than the other stock? Because you can do this for any other publicly traded stock. What makes Tesla unique? Well, the fact that the premiums on Tesla options are much higher than most other stocks. So this gives Tesla owners an opportunity to earn a higher premiums of selling covered call options. A quick shout out to Greg Ton of IASG for introducing me to selling covered calls, which I've been utilizing pretty much every week, with expirations expiring each week. Pretty much on Monday morning, I can sell covered calls and have them expire by Friday. And I've been able to generate for the last year more income per week than I do at my full-time career. So covered call options are a great opportunity. Again, not investment advice, but it is very limited risk, and again, a great way to earn additional income. Okay, number 12 is the Boring Company. Again, for those that follow Tesla, know about the Boring Company. For those who are maybe new to it, this is one of Elon's number of companies that he is a predominant owner in. But I think, this picture just says it all. I mean, if that's not just put you in awe to think about an underground tunnel that can transport cars, which in this case are going to be all Teslas, since guess who owns a company that can transport cars through a tunnel at a fast pace. And as the Boring Company expands and continues to grow around the world, Tesla will have a huge advantage as far as the transportation within them. So number 12 is the Boring Company. Number 13 is headed billions of miles of data. In their full self-driving journey, Tesla has accumulated billions of miles of data, as you can see from this photo or slide. Right now, as of into 2020, they have over 5 billion miles of data accumulated. For every car they sell, they put on the road, it accelerates the miles of data ahead of them. When you look to invest in a company, I think one of the first things that most people do, as I think we should when we analyze a company, is compare it to what other companies within that industry are doing, and how you compare how far ahead you are or maybe how far behind you are. And this one is just mind-blowing to think that Tesla has, again, over 5 billion miles of data, and the next nearest competitor as far as data collection is in the millions. I believe that's Waymo. I think one of potentially either Google's company, and Amazon is a little behind that. But when you have the number one company at 5 billion, and then you have the next nearest competitor trying to achieve full self-driving has only in the millions, the lead of that is unbelievable. And again, one of the 100 reasons why I've chosen Tesla. Number 14 is Elon's Twitter followers, which as of this morning, let me just look it up, make sure I have it right here. Elon has 40.3 million followers. Again, why invest in a company whose CEO has 40 million followers? Well, this is unbelievably powerful. Elon can send one tweet out. As we know, it can kind of work against you, but he can send a tweet out to say, hey, we have this new product called Tesla Tequila that just went on sale, and literally hit 40 million people, and within 1 minute, the product will be sold out. So if that's not powerful, I don't know what is. Speaking of Tesla tequila, number 15. You might say, what does this have to do with the core business of Tesla, and not really much of anything other than they can sell out, putting out a product in less than a day, and they continue to sell out as they produce more. So again, as far as the net cash flow, bottom line, it'll make them income. Will it make a huge difference? Probably not, but it does speak volumes when, again, no matter what they do, they attract such an audience, and there's such demand for anything that they're a part of. It says, I want to be a part of that. Number 16 is Tesla's patents. They have quite a few number of them, and recently they've put out quite a few that are mind-blowing. One of my favorites is the battery patent that they've come up with, among many. Again, I don't have time to go through in great detail, but this alone will make you want to get involved in a company when they can change the how they manufacture batteries to the point where it produces a much more efficient means, less cost effective. I could go on and on, but the Tesla patents are extremely powerful, and it does make you want to become a part of a company that can generate the ones that they can. Number 17, Tesla's competition. For those of you involved in Tesla and follow Tesla, know exactly what I'm talking about. But every day, if you watch news media, if you read any business journal and or blog, you'll constantly hear Tesla bulls or analysts or critics talk about the Tesla's competition's coming. And every day this competition doesn't come. This is a perfect summary of an example of their competition. So if you look at, for example, the Tesla Model Y compared to some of the other competitions, you look at, for example, the Jaguar, very similar in 0 to 60. However, if you look at battery range of the Jaguar, it's 234 miles, where Tesla is 326. So they're roughly 100 miles less in battery range, which we all know is significant. And then you look down at the price at the bottom, and you see that not only is it 100 miles less, but it's $20,000 more. So why would I pick a car that has 100 miles range less and it's $20,000 more? And the same with, for example, the Ford Mustang, which they're touting as again, a huge competitor. And if you look, it's a slower car. You would think it'd be faster, considering it was a Mustang, which has always been known to be fast. Again, the battery range is significantly less, and again, it still costs more. So the competition that keeps, that these analysts and all the Tesla bears keep talking about, just are non-existent. Okay, number 18 is titled Tesla Girl, and this is actually one of my favorites, just from a entertaining and fun. But there is a reason I have this, not just for fun entertainment purposes. It does actually speak about the reason I get involved and invested in a company such as Tesla. But it speaks a lot about the Tesla community. This is a meme that it shows up on social media just about every day, on Twitter and other accounts, I'm sure. But when I first saw this, I could not stop laughing. The expression on this girl's face is just classic, and the caption for under these three boxes change, of course, every day to something new, whatever it is going on at the time. But ironically, this came out a couple of weeks ago, and it has Tesla at a 600 share price, which it almost hit on Friday. And then, the caption of this one, of course, is the 420.69, which for the Tesla community knows the meaning behind this. These are two of Elon's favorite numbers, which, again, I won't go in detail. But, again, the expression on this girl's face is just priceless. And this is the kind of community just that gets shared, and the bond that's formed from all these different types of innuendos and just entertainment value that the community shares I just love to be a part of it. Okay, number 19 is the 5-year cost of ownership. You know, when you go to purchase a car, not only do you have to consider the purchase price, but you have to look at, you know, what this is going to cost me over a 5-year period. Because if you're going to buy a $40,000 car, and over the 5-year cost, it's going to cost you X, and then you buy a $30,000 car, but that's going to cost you more over that 5-year period. Would you rather have the $40,000 car, since again over that time period you're actually paying less? This is a perfect example of the Tesla Model 3 versus the Toyota Camry and the Audi, which shows you that the Toyota Camry ends up costing less. People will buy that because they say, well, this costs less than Tesla, I can't afford it. But yet they don't realize that over the 5-year period, they're actually paying more than they would for the Model 3. So the fact that Tesla can produce cars that are cost per mile over a 5-year period is less. Again, I want to be a part of that company. Okay, number 20, Tesla received the #1 ranked place to work for engineers coming out of college. And when you can become number one of all companies throughout the country, you're going to attract the best talent. And when you have the best talent working for you, you're going to be producing the best products. Number 21, first American company in China not required to partner. When I first heard this, I actually couldn't believe it. That no American company, it might even be worldwide, but for sake of example, no other American company has ever been able to produce or manufacture products in China without actually being required by the Chinese government to partner. Says this company is just second to none. The fact that they don't have to partner, which means they don't get to have to share and split half of their profit, means their profit margin is going to be through the roof. Number 22 is the $25,000 car. As Elon has talked about, his goal when he first started the company was to try to develop a car to manufacture that was at least 25,000 or below, because he recognized that in order to hit the mass market, to hit the most amount of people, he had to drive the cost down, and they are in the process of doing so. I think their expectation is within the next 2.5 years that they'll come out with a car in this price range, which means when they do, they're not going to be able to keep up with demand. Number 23 is vertical integration. Again, I haven't ranked the 100, but I would say this is probably in the top 10. Vertical integration, I think, is extremely underrated. Recently I was listening to the CEO of Ford talk about how vertical integration is not really that important. In fact, it can work against manufacturers. And when I hear that, it shocks me. To think about the advantages of vertical integration are extremely powerful. Recently, you may have heard about how a number of the large auto manufacturers have run into battery constraint issues, that they can't get enough batteries. Anytime a company that needs a specific product for their car has to reach out to their suppliers, and if the suppliers can't produce it in the time they need to, they raise their prices, they can't produce what they need in the timely period. This is where vertical integration, among many reasons, can be extremely powerful. But Tesla controls the entire start to finish of all their products, and that in itself keeps them just miles ahead of their competition. Number 24, their ATV. I don't own an ATV. I may have driven. Well, I've driven once an ATV. I think they're totally cool, but look at the design of this ATV. Is that not the coolest thing? If I did buy an ATV, that's what I would buy. In fact, I have ordered a Cybertruck, and look how it conveniently fits in the back of the Cybertruck. So what way to package a purchase of a Cybertruck with an ATV. Number 25 is the 4680. Who would have thought I would learn so much about batteries in such a short period of time, or have any interest? I really don't, but I also recognize how far ahead Tesla is from their competitors. The fact they're able to design this type of battery for their products, again, is put some miles ahead. Number 26 is the auto bidder. Again, like many of these 100, I don't have time to go into great detail. I encourage you to look up the auto bidder, but it's the software that Tesla has designed for managing, controlling, and allowing individuals, owners, to be able to sell and receive energy into their homes, which again is just mind-boggling. And another, again, huge business opportunity that can help grow Tesla to the moon. Okay, number 27 is the machine that builds the machine that builds the machine. In this case, it's the casting machine. And again, I hate to pick my top 10 favorites, but when I first learned about this, the fact that they can design a giant casting machine to produce one giant large part. I'll go in more detail on one of my future slides, so I don't want to give it away, but this is actually one of my favorite quotes from Elon of all time. He says, we build a machine that builds a machine that builds a machine. And I have to sit and think about that, and I'm just like, wow. Number 28, Tesla's mission statement, which says it all. It's to accelerate the world's transition to sustainable energy. Why wouldn't you want to be a part of that? Number 29 is the ability to raise capital. The fact that Tesla at any time, any point, can raise capital is so powerful, because anytime they need it, which in the past they have, Elon has so much clout on Wall Street that he can do a capital raise, whether it be debt or stock, and raise the capital he needs to continue on his ways, which very few CEOs can do that. Okay, number 30 is the Cybertruck. This has got a lot of interesting controversy. Some love the design, others think it's completely ugly and awful. I, of course, love it, and in fact, I've placed an order, and mine is expected to be completed in 2023. But you know, the fact that they put this out there and they have gotten over almost 1 million orders, whether you hate it or not, it's irrelevant, because the demand is certainly there. Number 31 is entitled CEO Sleeping on the Factory Floor. Why is this a reason to invest all of your funds into a company? Well, how many other CEOs of a Fortune 500 company are willing to work 100+ hours and fall asleep on the floor so they could spend more time getting things done? Elon is one of the hardest working CEOs or workers that you could possibly imagine, and who wouldn't want someone like that running a company that you are all in on? Okay, moving on to number 32 is full self-driving. Of the 100, this has got to be probably one of the top 3 most lucrative parts of the business. Soon you will see, as you may have if you go on to YouTube or see online, all the people posting on have the full self-driving beta, and it's unbelievable, and it's going to take, again, them to the moon. Number 33 is Giga Berlin. This will be I believe the 4th Gigafactory for Tesla. As you can see from the rendering, it's going to be unbelievable. I believe it's scheduled to be completed in June of next year, which is coming up here soon. I believe they are going to be able to produce up to 2 million cars per year once they're at full run capacity. They're going to have a top-of-the-line elite paint shop. They'll have many of their casting machines, so the production will be out of this world. And again, one of the 100 reasons to invest in this company. Number 34 is bi-directional charging capability. Some of you may have heard this, but if not, this gives, once it's set up, Tesla can make this happen where you can have your Tesla car charge your entire home. And shockingly, I've heard it can charge your house at full capacity for up to 3 days if needed. So if you have a power outage, let's say at your home, you can plug in your Tesla car and generate enough power for 3 full days to power your home, which is such a cool concept. Number 35 is grid-to-grid storage. Utilizing Tesla's solar roof or solar panels, you'll be able to produce all the energy you need as well as provide to the grid. Amazing. Number 36 is Tesla's acquisition of Maxwell Technologies. Maxwell is a small company, but considered one of the leading battery technology companies in the world. And again, one of the many reasons why Tesla has been able to produce batteries, which is basically the most important part of the EV car, what's really setting them apart. Number 37 is the Model 3, which is one of the best top-selling cars in the world. Need I say more? Okay, number 38 is the S&P 500 inclusion, which was recently announced, and the stock has gone up over 40%, I believe, since the inclusion. This will help just solidify Tesla for many years to come, and hopefully help stabilize the stock, since so many indexes will now own Tesla. Okay, number 39 is the Tesla semi-truck, which is scheduled to be start in mass production, sometime next year from the Texas Terafactory. But the semi-truck is going to be, again, one of those businesses within a business where they can not only sell the trucks to companies, but they'll also can become a truck company, which I'll talk about a little later. Number 40 is the Tesla service centers. They are scheduled to, I believe, double in size this coming year to expand to meet the demand of all the cars that they're producing. Which again, when you're doubling in size on a service center, the amount of income this can help generate is be significant. Okay, number 41 is the EV growth rate. Currently, as it stands now, this year, about only 3% of cars that are sold are electronic vehicles, and compared to, of course, the remaining 97% are internal combustion engines. By 2030, many are projecting that to be completely reversed, where 97% of EVs will be produced versus only maybe 3% of ICE. So if you look at that we have to go from 3% to 97%, is more than 3 times that in less than 10 years. So if you can imagine the growth rate, and I believe currently Tesla sells, I think 22% of the market. So doing the math is mind-boggling. Okay, number 42 is the Giga Shanghai. This is one of my favorite gigafactories for the main reason that the Chinese are unbelievable workers. They're one of the hardest workers. Their labor cost is extremely low. Many of the suppliers of the parts also are in China, and they continue to expand the Giga Shanghai. So this has taken their profit from last year compared to this year to, again, a whole nother level, and will continue to. Okay, number 43 is the Tesla Model X. This is actually my favorite of the entire fleet. Model X, I mean, it's the coolest car. I mean, with these Falcon wings, it doesn't get any better. Tesla Robotaxi, number 44. This is going to be putting taxis out of business, Uber out of business, Lyft out of business, and this will be a significant revenue generating, profit generating part of Tesla. All right, number 45 is the sexy short shorts. As you can see from the photo, this is actually also one of my favorite, funniest ones. But what does this have to do with, again, investing in the company? For those of you who aren't maybe not aware, the sexy spells the lineup of their current cars, which is the Model S for the S, the Model 3, which is the E kind of backwards, the X, and then the Y. So it spells their lineup. But the reason that Elon put together the shorts was is a means to be able to send these shorts to the short sellers. He was so confident and just driven to prove all those bears and analysts that felt like Tesla was going to go bankrupt. And he since has sent a number of these shorts to famous bear short sellers. And I mean, why would you, again, not want to be part of a company whose CEO has the balls, the confidence, the drive to be able to prove people wrong and to be able to show people that are rooting against him that he can actually succeed, which he has more than done so. All right, speaking of short sellers, this is I call this the short sellers of Mount Rushmore, number 46. When I saw this, I couldn't stop laughing. Somebody had put this together, these 4 homeless people who have faces, who are the famous short sellers. Gordon Johnson, the first one, Jim Chanos, David Einhorn, followed by Mark Spiegel. By the way, if you go check out on YouTube Stephen Mark Ryan's ridiculous Tesla short seller reaction video, it's classic. But as you can see, Gordon Johnson's, he's holding up a sign that says, I had an 87 price target and I'm still short, which I think in the pre-split is actually like $17.40 a share, and right now it's at $585. And these other 3 are just the same. But again, to see the Tesla community just rally around Elon and to be able to just prove these people just how wrong they are is extremely entertaining. So number 47 is SpaceX and the NASA collaboration. I included this because, as we know, Elon is a significant owner into SpaceX. And who are the smartest people in the world other than those that work for NASA and now SpaceX? So the collaboration effort that Elon talks about, how we can use the knowledge that they apply to rocket ships and apply similar to the engineering of cars, it is going to just continue to put them so far ahead. Okay, number 48 is Tesla's mobile repair and service. Again, I think this was one of the ways that Tesla came up with problem solving. They recognized that they were lacking on the number of service centers as they were producing service centers. They created a mobile fleet to be able to come to people's homes, businesses, place of work. They could make changes and repairs needed right on spot. Okay, 49 is Tesla Supercharger Network. One of the reasons that many people haven't adapted purchasing electric vehicles is because their fear of range anxiety, where they feel like they might run out of power and get stranded. Well, Tesla has done an amazing job of overcoming this anxiety. If you can see, from this map, you can see how many superchargers, and it continues to grow and they continue to add, so that you can pretty much go anywhere if you live in the United States and have access to a supercharger. And they're continuing to grow in all the other countries across the world as well. Number 50, halfway there, is Tesla streaming network. Once full self-driving has been achieved, and even before then, Tesla has come up with an amazing job of being able to create a network for streaming, whether it be Netflix, any of the music apps, as well as video games, etc. Once full self-driving is in place, You'll have nothing better, nothing else to do. Well, many things, but you'll have full access to a network that Tesla will control and be able to produce income from. Number 51 is Tesla Giga Nevada, which I believe is the largest lithium-ion manufacturing plant in the world, which says a lot. The fact that Elon could just build this gigafactory in the middle of a desert and create one of the most successful, again, largest in the world, says a lot. Okay, number 52 is the Tesla Model Y. The one thing I do want to say about this is expected to be the #1 selling car in the entire world. So again, I don't think it needs to say much more than that. Okay, number 53 is Tesla software. Many large corporations will pay the likes of a CRM, a customer relationship manager software like Salesforce to be able to do their web design, etc. But Elon looks at things differently. He says, why don't we just create and produce these software so we control it? We don't have to rely on not only paying, but relying on what these companies will offer. So he just had all his software engineers design all the software they need for throughout their company, from their cars to their energy division, website, etc. Which, again, when you have a CEO that can just create all the things they need within house, is cost savings and brilliant. Number 54, safest cars in the world. When you go to make a purchase, oftentimes people will look at price, they'll look at how fast the car is, how cool it looks, but there's many buyers out there that want, the safest car, and Tesla has produced in their fleet the safest cars in the world. So again, you can't go wrong. Number 55 is Tesla's lineup. It's really important to have a very diverse and unique set of cars in a lineup because not everybody has the same taste. And I think Tesla has done an amazing job of coming up with a lineup that suits so many different needs. And even better than that, that Elon can come up and spell sexy cars for his lineup names is brilliant. Okay, number 56 is the CEO is an engineer, and not only any engineer, he's one of the smartest engineers in the world. He, most CEOs don't have this kind of background that he does, especially on the manufacturing side. But I was listening to an interview recently that Elon was given, and he said, I wish that more, in reference to other auto manufacturers, would put down their spreadsheets and look at more about the actual manufacturing design. And he accelerates and is at a whole nother level of being able to, again, make the machine that makes the machine that makes the machine, which sets him apart further way ahead than others. Number 57 is the supercharger plant. It was just announced recently that Tesla is going to be building another factory just to produce the superchargers, and it's going to be in China to go along with the ones they produce in Buffalo. Again, they are constrained by other suppliers. So again, Elon says, well, why not we just make them ourselves and produce even more? So number 58 is the Tesla Texas Terafactory. It certainly is destiny that you have the TE before each of the first three words that are going to create one of the, well, if the largest factory in the world. It's not a gigafactory, but a terafactory that they're going to be able to produce over 2 million cars, be able to produce their own batteries. I can't wait to go see it. It's scheduled to be done towards the middle or end of next year. Close to Austin, Texas. But again, this is going to just set them apart even further than their competition. Number 59 is Tesla car carriers. Tesla's ability to innovate is astounding. They couldn't get enough cars to the buyers quick enough because they were carrier constrained. So what does Elon do? He starts building carriers to transport cars. he doesn't just say we'll just have to wait and get on the next shipment. He says how can we make this improvement and get these cars out, and this is what he does. Number 60 is 70 to 1. Again, I think this definitely makes my top 10. The fact that they were able to take 70 parts or over 70 parts and make them into one part using this casting machine is hard to even comprehend. The fact that you could design that to cut down all those parts, all that labor, all the machinery into from over 70 to 1, nobody's going to catch him. Okay, number 61 is Warren Buffett. Some of you might think it's because of the recent news that Warren Buffett's company might be acquiring large shares of Tesla. Hasn't come out yet whether it's true or not, but that's not the reason I have this on here. Years ago, one of the things I learned about Warren Buffett is that when he first started investing in stock, his number one priority was that to buy into companies that you yourself used, that your family, your friends all were utilizing. And I had to find a picture of him drinking a Coke because I know he's a big Coke fan, and he would, of course, invest in Coca-Cola because he drank it all the time. The same with McDonald's. He eats McDonald's all the time, so why not invest in companies that you are a big fan of? And so he said if you invest in companies that you're utilizing the time and other people are using, then you obviously know they're going to be successful. So that would go towards Tesla. Okay, number 62 is over-the-air updates. I'm not aware of any other company in the world that can send updates to their car and continue to make it better each time they send an update. If that's not unbelievable, I don't know what is. Okay, number 63 is 5 times the retention. One of the reasons I hated buying new cars was because, as we all know, the minute you drive it off the lot, the value gets cut nearly in half. But something has changed as recently in Tesla. Their 3-year depreciation is roughly 10% compared to the industry average, which is 52% after 3 years. Powerful. Number 64, insider trading. One of the first things that analysts look at when investing in a company is how much insider trading or selling or buying that a CEO will do. If a CEO is buying up a ton of shares, that they are very confident in their company that's going to do well. And on the other side of the coin, if a lot of the higher level, especially CEOs, higher level management is doing a lot of selling, that they know more than the average person, that's definitely a red flag. Just last week, the GM CEO started selling a lot of shares, and Elon is infamous for tweeting or going under record saying he's a first into the company and he'll be the last one out, which speaks volumes. All right, number 65 is kids love Tesla. Well, why is this important? Well, they have products for kids, but more importantly, it's funny how I read and I hear about how kids are actually convincing their parents to get a Tesla. And, if you look ahead 10, 15 years, our next generation, if all these kids are loving Tesla, what car do you think they're going to be getting as they, become of age? Number 66, brand value. In a brand list of the top 100 global brands, in 2016, Tesla was estimated, the name Tesla was already worth over $4 billion. And in 2020, I believe that number grew to over $12 billion. So that's 3 times the value in 3 years just for the brand value, which of course you want to be invested in a company whose brand value is accelerating at that pace. Okay, number 67 is financial freedom. As you can see from the street sign, Millionaire Road, Tesla has helped quite a few people become billionaires and quite a lot of millionaires through their stock. So again, why would you not want to be part of a company that is changing lives? Number 68 is loyal consumer. Consumer Reports recently showed that a stunning amount of 91% of Tesla owners surveyed said they would purchase the same vehicle if they had to do it all over again. And that was, I think, 7% percentage points ahead of its next closest competitor. So, need I say more? All right, moving on to number 69, the Net Promoter Score. So a Net Promoter Score, according to IndexNPS.com, Tesla comes in first among auto brands with a Net Promoter Score of 96, which is off the charts. And this number represents how often a consumer would recommend a brand to others. And it's excellent. And it ranks a full 12 points ahead of its closest competition. So again, everything that these analysts test, Tesla is so far above the next closest competitor. All right, number 70 is their ability to attract top talent. According to PayScale, 89% of Tesla's employees feel their work is making the world a better place. That ranks second only to SpaceX, and it's a full 11 percentage points ahead of the next closest tech competitor, which is Facebook. Having a mission statement that employees care about deeply goes a long way towards helping Tesla recruit and motivate top talent. All right, number 71 is the Powerwall. The Powerwall is intended to be used for home and energy storage and stores for electricity for solar self-consumption and ability to back up power and be off the grid use. So the Powerwall you will see in the near future will continue to grow revenue and the bottom line for Tesla. And going along with the Powerwall, number 72 is the Power Pack, which is larger and it's intended for commercial electrical utility grid use and can be used for peak shaving, load shifting, backup power, demand response, microgrids, renewable power integration. The list goes on and on. But again, this is many are feeling that the energy side of Tesla will be even way bigger than the auto side. All right, number 73 is the income producer. This will enable car owners of Tesla to make money for you when you're not even using it. Once full self-driving becomes complete, you can put your car onto the fleet and make money for you while it's just sitting in your driveway, or instead of sitting in your driveway, I should say. All right, number 74 is the Tesla solar roofs. Solar roofs are the only roofs that can help pay for itself with the energy you produce. You can power your home at the lowest price per watt of any national provider while you eliminate your monthly electricity bill, which is awesome. And if you don't want a full Tesla solar roof, you can just get Tesla solar panels, which is number 75. Again, this can help pretty much reduce or eliminate your electrical bill, and it'll pay for itself and charge all of your Teslas. And to complete the solar side of Tesla, the Tesla's centralized power generation. If you look at this picture, it's unbelievable the size and the specs of that they actually are powering entire towns and villages using their commercial side of their solar power generation. So, I mean, like, this picture is just mind-boggling to show you the growth and what's to come with the solar side of Tesla. Number 77 is Tesla's circuit board. Nikkei Asian Review recently performed a teardown of Tesla's Model 3 and its electric components. The Japanese business paper's engineers were shocked over the advanced circuits they found inside the car. Let's see what it says. An engineer from an unnamed rival company looked at the central control unit and conceded that his company cannot do it. I mean, this is mind-boggling. All right, number 78 is Tesla's electric company. Again, a business within a business, and again, their solar side of things are, again, I think, going to blow away the auto side of things. But recently, Tesla is taking new steps towards becoming an electricity service provider, expanding Tesla beyond its main business of selling electrical cars and solar energy solutions. Tesla has applied to license to generate electricity in the United Kingdom. So they're looking to become a solar company, which again is hundreds of billions of dollars in potential future revenue. Number 79, Tesla's trucking company. Again, a business within a business. Once full self-driving gets completed, they'll be able to compete and actually put many trucking companies out of business because their fleet will be able to transport all their products without even a driver. So you can't compete against that mile per mile. Okay, number 80 is 100 gigafactories. This is significant. Musk has recently said that it would take roughly 100 battery-focused gigafactories in order to produce enough energy storage to let solar cells replace all their forms of energy production. So, knowing Elon, knowing his 10-year projections, how he looks far out in the future, he's already got 5 either built or currently being built. So he, I'm sure, has his sights set on where he can produce up to 100 gigafactories, which again is like what is that? 20 times what they're doing right now. Okay, number 81 is Starlink. Starlink will deliver high-speed broadband internet to locations where access has been unreliable, expensive, or completely unavailable. All of Tesla's products need internet, including their entire fleet and solar divisions. So the fact that Starlink, which is part of SpaceX, which is part of what Elon owns, will be an integral part of Tesla, I'm sure, in the near future. Number 82 is the ability for Tesla to address future challenges, and that could be anything from climate change to fossil fuel dependency reduction to safety issues to affordability of products. All these things are a challenge that Tesla is not only helping solve, but they're completely overcoming all these significant major issues. Number 83 is a visionary, which of course is, I'm talking about Elon, the CEO. I chose the chessboard because I'm not good at chess, and the reason I'm not good is because in order to be good, you have to be thinking 2, 3, even 10 steps ahead, and that's how Elon thinks. He's already, we're already looking 1 step. He's already jumped 10 steps ahead. So I'm sure Elon's good at chess, but running a business can oftentimes be similar to a chessboard where you can't be thinking just 1 step ahead. You have to be on top of it and already moving 10 steps ahead, which he's shown over and over again that he can do. All right, number 84 is Tesla's mining company. Again, a business within a business. Tesla's getting into the mining business. They purchased a 10,000 acre site in Nevada to produce lithium. And quoting Elon, he had talked about he found that you can actually use table salt, which is sodium chloride, to basically extract the lithium from the one. Nobody has done this, and this just shows you the brilliance of how he thinks and how he can, just want to mine all his products, and again can control the complete integration of his product line. Number 85 is smart summons. Sometimes it's just the little things that make a big difference. And when this first came out, I was like, wow, this is so cool, and as did many other millions of people. But the ability to, from just pull out your phone and summon your car to come to you. Again, I'm sure in years to come it'll seem like not a big deal, but this is something definitely unique, and that shows how far ahead that Tesla is. Number 86 is cash on hand. Now we're looking at the financial side of things. Tesla, as of recent, had over $14 billion cash on hand. And I know just even a year or two ago how many analysts felt like they were going to go bankrupt because they didn't have enough cash. And look where they're at now. It's amazing. Okay, number 87 is eating competitions lunch and making them pay for it. This has gotten a lot of controversy among many Tesla analysts, especially, of course, the Tesla bears, who feel like the only reason that Tesla's making a profit is because they're taking or receiving credits from their competition. But I see this as completely different. For example, the Fiat Chrysler last year gave Tesla over $1 billion. And what did Tesla do with that $1 billion? They took it and built the Giga Shanghai. So not only are they getting money from them, they're taking it to accelerate their lead from their competition. So again, I'm not sure how you can see this as a negative, and they're going to continue doing that, I'm sure, for the next couple of years. Eventually that's going to run out, but if they can continue to distance themselves, taking that money, reinvesting it, building their lead even further apart, I think is brilliant. Okay, number 88 is growth during the global pandemic. So quarter two, if you look at this chart, I even put a little an arrow showing, you can see all the reds from every single other car manufacturer, except there's one green, which you can see the arrow, and of course you can imagine who that is. So during an entire global pandemic, Tesla still had a significant growth year over year, where every single other manufacturer did not. So if that doesn't tell you the direction they're heading, I don't know what does. All right, number 89 is entitled First Inning, First Quarter, First Set, depending on what sport you play. But you hear a lot of talk about people say that Tesla's only in the first inning. If you look at a company life cycle, as I put on this chart here, they start an introduction, a growth phase, a maturity phase, and then a decline. Tesla is only in the very beginning of the introduction stage, which again translates to a first inning of a ball game. So if that doesn't tell you what kind of growth is coming ahead, I don't know what does. All right, almost there. We're at number 90, artificial intelligence, the AI. Very few CEOs recognize the significance to AI like Elon does, but basically it has to do with machine learning, pattern recognition, language processing, robotics, cybersecurity, autonomous systems. All these things are incorporated into their product line, and is a huge part of the reason that they're as successful as they are and will continue to be. Okay, number 91 is CEO that listens and engages with customers. Many people are blown away by the fact that Elon will actually respond to tweets. He'll actually ask questions of customers or of his 40 million followers. People ask him for, hey, you ever think about this? And he'll say, yeah, that's a great idea, and we'll implement it. So he gets feedback. He listens like no other CEO, which again sets him apart. Number 92, free cash flow. Again, looking at the finances, in 2017 they had a negative $4 billion free cash flow, and in this year they are over 1.8 billion free cash flow and continue to grow. So the amount of change they've had, improvement from just a couple years ago till now, shows you how fast they are accelerating their cash flow. Number 93 is Tesla's competitors are having battery supply problems. As I mentioned in talking about a number of my slides with vertical integration, how useful and significant it can be to control the supply. And recently there have been a number of different articles and discussions how Volkswagen is having extreme amount of trouble with their battery supply, and this is going to happen and continue to happen with all the other major manufacturers. So a significant advantage for Tesla. Okay, number 94 is PayPal. Again, I mentioned earlier that Elon helped create PayPal, and I came across this as an interesting, I call it the PayPal tree, to show you how many different founders of these major companies all started actually through PayPal. So it just goes to show you the type of talent that Elon attracts and develops within his company, and he'll continue to do that with both, Tesla as well as SpaceX. Okay, number 95, demand is rising. When I first heard this quote, I actually had to play it in my head several times over because it made sense, but then it didn't. And then I just kept saying it. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is a powerful thing. But every time a Tesla sells. If you have to kind of think about that, but it's so true. Anytime I hear somebody that gets a Tesla, how many people they talk about and how many people who get in the car, it ends up just fueling itself in this continuous loop of sales are powerful. Okay, number 96 is Wright's Law. What is Wright's Law? Well, basically, it specifically states that for every cumulative doubling of units produced, costs will fall by a constant percentage. You'll hear on the next slide when we talk about who talks a lot about this, but this, in essence, is what the business of Tesla is about with their battery production, because their costs continue to dramatically go down as they continue to ramp up and produce significant number of batteries and vehicles, which again just goes straight to the bottom line, and it gives them the ability to reduce their costs. All right, speaking of Wright's Law, number 97 is Tasha Keeney. She gets her own slide because she is a huge proponent of Wright's Law. She does an unbelievable job of analyzing Tesla, breaking it down, showing how the growth of Tesla can be exponential over the next 10 years. She takes a lot of heat, but she's brilliant. She, of course, is beautiful. And I'm a huge fan of Tasha as well as the rest of her crew at ARC. All right, number 98 is Kathy Wood from ARC. I wanted to kind of save Kathy towards the end almost save the best for last. I owe Kathy a ton of gratitude. I'm grateful for stumbling upon her and listening to her over these last several years. She is the one who, got me involved in Tesla just because of the research that she did, how she was able to communicate and really show how different Tesla is compared to other companies. So I feel like I owe her a lot of money. She's done me very well, and I thank you, Kathy, if you're ever watching this video. All right, the last two are number 9900, and I saved the last two, the best for last. As I mentioned in the beginning, the main reasons I wanted to put this video together. First was to give back to the community, hopefully educate those that are newer to Tesla, and hopefully explain to them why they may consider investing in Tesla. Again, this is not investment advice. Do your own research. Blah, blah, blah. That's for you, Tom Nash. But the last two slides, again, I wanted to give back to the Tesla community that I have learned over the last 2 years a considerable amount from. And those are going to be my top 10 Tesla podcasters. And so I'm going to name them here. I did rank them just to put them in two groups. So these are the honorable mentions, so number 6 through 10. That doesn't mean they're not awesome, but this is a very competitive group, and I've learned a ton from. So in number 6 through 10, no order for these five, but just in my 6 through 10 are Torque News, Armin Harian, Warren Redlick does a great job of analyzing battery and other detailed information. Tom Nash, I find very entertaining. Tom, thank you for the last 2 podcasts you've done on Nikolai. Like Nikola, but those are really good, and hopefully my Nikola puts will make me some money. But and then Dylan from Electrified does a great job, and then Third Row Tesla podcast. They would be probably in the top 5, except they don't put out very often. So I wanted to support those that do almost daily information. So. But Third Row does a great job because they get interviews with Elon, and they do a fabulous group job. So thank you for for all 5 of you for what you do and the information you share with myself and the Tesla community. All right, saving the best for last. We have reached number 100 of 100. Hopefully up till now you've found this to be educational, understanding why I've gone all in 100% on Tesla. It's difficult, but I found it easy to come up with 100 reasons. Hopefully you've found this educational. But again, these 5 individuals have really transformed and educated me over the last couple years, and I want to I've ranked them in order. This was very difficult to rank, but I'll try to explain why I did. But following the number 5 spot for Best Tesla Podcast is Dave Lee, who I enjoy listening to. Very calming voice, voice of reason, but he digs deep into the philosophy and the mindset behind why people invest in Tesla and why they're involved in Tesla, which I enjoy. So thank you, Dave. Number 4 goes to Zach and Jesse from Now You Know. I find them both entertaining and educational. They do a great job, which again I enjoy watching. And then rounding out the top 3 in the bronze, number 3 goes to Galileo Russell of Hyperchange. What I appreciate about you is the passion that you bring to all your podcasts. I love listening to you as far as how you just are so passionate about the company, and it really helps keep my conviction. And going for the silver, number 2 goes to Rob Maurer of Tesla Daily. Rob does, again, a fabulous job. He puts together daily, hence the name, daily videos, roughly 10 to 15 minutes long that inform you of all the things that are happening. And this is, again, one of the reasons why I'm so involved in 100% all in on Tesla is because how many other companies do you know that can actually produce daily content and updates about a company as much as Tesla? I don't think there is. And the community is just powerful. But Rob does an amazing job of both insight and detail, and just does a great job of summarizing it. So if you want to spend 10 to 15 minutes learning on a daily basis, I would strongly recommend watching his podcast. Which leaves the number 1 spot goes to my favorite, which is Stephen Mark Ryan of Solving the Money Problems. He is so fun and entertaining. He works his butt off. He produces daily videos, sometimes 2, sometimes 3 videos a day, which is just phenomenal. I love them all. I even tweeted him the other day, and I said he was. I felt like he was a soul brother. We have almost the exact same philosophy. He's almost 100%, and he's like 97%. So we're very similar. We have very similar returns. His conviction is what kind of inspired me. Every day, when you're all in on something, you want to make sure that things haven't changed, and he helps keep me convicted of why I'm involved, and that could change. I mean, I could wake up tomorrow and something could happen to Elon, something could happen to competition, which I don't think it's going to for a lot of years, but he's really just helps get me focused on really why I'm all in. So Stephen, a huge thank you to you and for all that you do. And for all 10 of my favorite podcasts, I love talking about Tesla. So if any of you ever want to have me on, I'd be a welcome guest to share my philosophy and talk Tesla. So thank you to you all. Goodbye.